Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers in order to increase your profits, in order to live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and this week's episode, we have a special Valentine's episode as we enter the month of love. I love love. I love this month. And before we get into it, I just want to say that I am opening up the Artist Academy as my love gift to you this month, now until Valentine's Day. Anyway, it stops on Valentine's Day, so you better get in for $1. If you would like to join the Academy for $1 for your first month, then join us. Share the love. Come on inside and see what these lovely artists are all about. So the Artist Academy is my basically vault of everything that I have had to do in my art business. I sat down, recorded how I did it, how I make SEO keywords for my website, how I sell canvases via email list, and mostly how I build my mural business. I have what's called the Mural Master in there, and it is a step-by-step of all the businessy stuff that nobody really likes to do, but I show you how to create an LLC or a tax ID number and all of the things. There's so many things, but I help you, hopefully in a fun way, try to get it all done and make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's and gaining more mural customers. I have built a 12 plus year mural business. Most of those years have been in the six figures. There's been a couple in the early years that weren't quite there. And I explain all the things about how I get started and just literally everything that I've had to do in order to grow my mural business. Outreach, the public art calls. You get my exact application. You can see exactly what I send in for public art calls. You can see everything, how I edit my videos, how I organize my life and business. And that's all inside of the Artist Academy. It is normally $37 a month or $2.99 if you get the 1 year subscription. But right now it's only $1. So if you want this, if you're ever curious, if there's I know you have something in there that I just want to see really quick, join right now for $1. It's this until Valentine's Day. Get on it, and I would love to see you in there. I was talking about this subject to a couple of my artist friends recently, and I was telling them about, we're talking about sales on this call, and we're talking about just dealing with people and the do's and don'ts of marketing and what makes you more valuable. And then I was telling them, this is so similar to, I have a friend who is new on the dating scene, and they are really confused about it, never really dated before. And they're like, okay, what do I do? I was like, okay, let me help you. So for instance, I made them a Hinge profile, or they did that. And then they sent it to me and I was like, no. Let's use these photos. Let's say this, let's do this. And let's make you the biggest catch in order to meet these people and, these dates and then win them over. And it's just, let's put your best foot forward. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much like putting the best photos that you have of your art on your Instagram and on your website, and how we post about our highlight reel on Instagram all the time. And we're always putting our best foot forward, but also like how a first date is so much like that first call. Whenever somebody is inquiring about a mural, they're not completely sure, they want something, they want to see if you can get some ideas. It's so similar. So I wrote down a couple things to talk about. So for instance, I'm going to start with the major one. So your Hinge profile photo, the first thing that people are seeing. And if people have never been on dating websites, I was on Tinder back in the day. My husband and I both were. We were friends before we dated. And so we would both talk about our Tinder profiles and things. So I fully thought that I was going to meet my husband, my future husband, on Tinder, as for sure. I met so many friends that way, and dates and guys that didn't work out, guys that I dated. And I was like, this is the perfect thing for me to talk about, because I was in the dating life for way too long before my husband. I tell him now, I'm like, I am so glad we're married and happy, because I would hate to be dating again. I think I just did it for too long and I just got tired of the BS of it. And anyway, the first thing is like your profile photo. I want to urge you to, if you're an artist, and which you are because you're listening to this, but don't put your artist photo on your Hinge profile. I mean, unless you want to him to love you for being an artist. But I've had the same photo on my Instagram pretty much since I created it. And that photo was taken 10 years ago, but it's such a good one. And it's what people know me by. It's like people see that photo. I've had so many other artists ask like, hey, I want to recreate your photo for my profile picture. Do you care? I'm like, no, of course not. And also if you go to my Instagram profile, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably should. I'm way cooler there. And it's like this paintbrush and some paint, and I put it on my face and put the brushes in front of my face. And it's just a really cool artsy photo. Funny fact, that photo, so I used to do promos back in the day, and photographers wanted to photograph me and my promo girlfriends. And so this really great photographer in Arkansas wanted to photograph me and a friend. And so we went down there and we did these really cutesy outfits, and some a little scandalous, not quite lingerie, but we did photos like that, promo photos, beauty shots. And then at the very end, I was like, can I just I brought a little bit of paint. Can I just do a little bit of we can do an artsy shoot? He's like, okay, it was the very end. So I could just wash off afterwards and we could drive home. And we did that shot. It was really kind of an afterthought, not even the whole purpose of the thing. And I've loved it ever since. I love it. It's on the cover of my book or on the back of it. And it's just the photo that everybody knows me for, but it was done 10 years ago. I didn't even think that that's what would come of it, but it's a pretty professionally done photo. And I think if you're a professional artist, which I am, and you are, or you are aspiring to be, I think there's something beneficial about making yourself appear professional online with professional photography, or at minimum, just a photo that looks really good. If you're an artist standing next to a mural that you created, and the mural is the main thing of it, right? That's a great photo. It doesn't need to be professionally photographed. That's not what I'm saying. But for your Hinge photo, for your profile photo, I think there's a lot of benefit to hiring a new professional photographer, paying them a couple $100 to come out and get some shots for your website. That way, if somebody's finding you and they Google you, say somebody's Googling you, they're going to look at your work. If you have a really professional headshot, that adds to your overall brand and it really helps. I'm not saying put that on Tinder, but it's still kind of the same thing. You want to have the best photo you have ever taken in your life as your first photo on Tinder. I remember I dated a guy one time. His first photo on Tinder, I was like, oh my gosh. Well, and I remember telling him, I'm like, this is the best photo you've ever taken. He goes, why do you think it's the first one on my Tinder? I was like, oh, you know what you're doing. Okay, great. And I was doing this and I was picking this out for my friend, and my husband was like, you don't want to catfish people. I'm like, no. You need to put your best photo first. That way it stops the scroll, right? That's what we're doing. Anytime you post on social media, you want people who are just scrolling really quick to stop, read, look, memorize, you want them to stop and just be on your content for a little bit. Because not only does it help it with the algorithm and all the things, it helps people to know who you are, to remember you, to recommend you. It helps your overall everything. And it's the same for your Tinder profile. It's how can we put our best foot forward? And I'm not saying every reel should be amazing, but our profile pictures should. The content on our websites should be top tier. Before we even go to the first date or that first call with a potential customer, we need to figure out how to get them, right? So there's dating apps that could be equivalent to getting on Thumbtack. Okay, same thing, less choices, more exact. It could be the equivalent of scrolling on Instagram. People, you're all seeing Sometimes it could be the equivalent of getting on Pinterest or whatever it is. But overall, I think it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, whether you're looking at views or you're looking at number of posts posted, or you're looking at outreach emails, or you're looking at Tinder swipes. It's a numbers game. It is so not personal. I have swiped left and right on so many people, and I've had so many inquiries that have just been ghosted or just didn't work out, or sometimes they did. And I think the better your art and the better your profile picture, it matters. Looks aren't everything, but quality and presentation are. You wouldn't go to your first date in sweatpants, right? I see a lot of artists, and I am so bad about this myself. That's why I'm calling all of us out, is we show up to paint in like the worst clothes, right? We show up and we're like, this is just the clothes that I want to get paint on. And I'm like, no. So every year I try to reassess my wardrobe, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need a couple new shirts. Maybe I need a couple new shirts that don't have all of this paint all over it. Because I get some looks sometimes, like when I'm going into, I don't know, like there's a really pretty way to wear paint on your clothes. And then there's just a way that's like, whoa, what happened? Like I have some shoes that I wore while I was spray painting, like with the big spray gun. Those shoes are gone. Though I'm not wearing those shoes out anymore. But I think presentation has a lot to do with how we get jobs, how we market ourselves, how our brand looks, and how many swipes right we're going to get on the Tinder profiles. Okay, new twist. I just thought about this. Didn't plan on saying it, but I was like, what if I make a Tinder profile and I really am no, okay, I'm not going to do this. But like, what if you could? What if you're single out there and you're really not wanting to pay for marketing? You could create a Tinder profile where it's like your profile picture with a nice like paint on you and everything, like basically, and then they swipe and it's just you with your murals. And then at the end, it's like, hire me, call me at this number to hire me to do this. Okay, but it's an idea, right? If somebody does this, please message me. I would love it. Obviously, you have to be pretty single. Like, even if I don't feel like I can do this as a married person. Even if it's like very obviously like paints exterior, you put captions on it, like we'll paint your kids' room if you have a kids with your previous wife. We'll paint your man cave that, if we start dating, you can't have anymore. We'll paint all these things. Oh man, I could go on and on. That's marketing. I'm going to ask my husband about it. So I have an idea. I'm going to ask him tonight. I'm like, so I have this idea. Keep an open mind. What do you think? He's going to be like, go for it. I literally zero cares. Okay. But then what do you do when, say, somebody does swipe right on you, right? And it's a match, and I'm pretty sure it's swipe right. I think left is no, and then right is yes, right? I'm pretty sure. I know because I was on it quite a bit. And so say somebody reaches out from your social media post, from your whatever, your Tinder profile, all the things. Somebody reaches out, they inquire, they slide into your DMs, like customer or potential date. What do you do then? What's the best thing to do? The best thing is to act freaking fast, like short turnaround time, because if not, that customer is going to be possibly messaging someone else if you don't respond within 24 hours or even like within the hour. If I get an inquiry on Thumbtack, they rate you in your response time. And so I was actually on a call with my artist friends earlier, and I got a Thumbtack lead, and I was like, hold on 1 second. And I was like, hello, blah, blah, blah. Do you have time for a quick call in about 30 minutes? And then I sent it to him. There we go. I don't think that your Hinge profile needs to have that quick of response, but I think responding to your Mural customers within the first hour is fantastic. Hit while it's fresh. Get them on the phone. That is my biggest tip. Get them off of Thumbtack, off of Instagram, off of Facebook, wherever these people are inquiring from, and get them on the phone. Have a quick call. Figure out if it's for you. Same thing with dating apps, right? I used to get on Bumble and all these things, and you'd match with so many people. And the last thing I wanted to do was message these boys for days. Hi, how's it going? Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. Get to know that way. I'm like, no. Like, are you cool? Are you not? I don't want to waste my time. Like, so I was telling my friend, I'm like, you need to get these people. Like, if you match with them in the morning, say, hey, what are you doing tonight? And then what are you talking about? Like, wait, how are you asking them? So I think not just with the urgency of it, quick response time, don't dawdle, don't just go back and forth with specifics or all things, like meet up, get them on the phone call, something to make it to where like it's real. Because a lot of the times when people are reaching out online on Tinder dates or online, like inquiring for a mural, it's like, you're not really like a real person. You're just like messages in their phone for a little bit. It's not tangible. And like as soon as you meet in real life on like at their site or Netflix and chill, either one, then it becomes real. And then they'll respond to you. Usually it's really rare that I get ghosted after I have a phone call with somebody or after I meet them at their location or we Netflix and chill or we go on a yoga date or whatever. It's like, so after the urgency is there, what do you say? So I was talking to my friend. I was like, hey, instead of saying, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, say, let's go meet for coffee tonight or tomorrow morning. Or, hey, I need to run to the mall in like tonight. Do you want to come help me shop for my mom? I don't know. Something to where it's like, I'm doing this. You can come if you want to at this time. Like, I'm telling them what to do. Let's make the decision. Let's do it. And have confidence with it. No wishy-washy stuff. Because people are going to be like, I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and same with a mural inquiry, right? Get them on the phone. Be confident about it. I think the worst thing you can do is when somebody said, hey, I have this, blah, blah, blah. You can, like, how much is that going to cost? You answer them with like, maybe like, I don't know, like 8,000? Like, that's not a confident, you're like answering with a question. Like, is 8,000 okay? Like that, no, be like, okay, well, I've done projects like this in the past. And usually from what you're wanting without doing a sketch, we need to do that before doing like having like showing that I have experience in that way. And also being confident in, I'm sure we could land in a budget ballpark of around like 6,000 to 10,000. That's probably where it's going to land. It's going to depend on a lot of details, but just to give you a ballpark, that's where I feel confident in quoting you. Let me know, does that work for you? And then you can ask them after you've laid it all out, like, this is what I have. This is what we're going to do. These are the next steps, right? And so a lot of the times that comes with practice. But if you would like a script for this, I have this in the Artist Academy, and you can literally hold the script in front of you and read it as you're talking to the people online to be more confident. But I think it's just practice. You know, your first date ever, how did that go? Probably weird, maybe. I don't know. Unless you're one of those that like married from high school, then you're like, what's that? I don't know. Like we went to the drive-in and it was great. Can you imagine like dating in your 30s? I wouldn't even know. Oh my gosh, I feel like I would be so much less like, I would not put up with any kind of bullshit at all. I'd be like, hi, do you want to do this? Do this, is this who you are? Okay, great. Okay, bye. Like moving on. I don't have time right now. It'd be very different than in my early 20s. I'm like reminiscing about dating. I'm going to tell my husband, be like, so if you ever leave me, I have a plan. Like, I'm not only going to market my art on Tinder, I'm going to also, oh, by the way, I played that dating game so long to where you like act fast. And then when you meet somebody, and then there is a level of like, you don't want to seem too desperate, right? In dating and with talking to a mural person, but you don't want to be like, I can come out tomorrow and start painting. Like usually the good muralists are like, okay, I can fit you in this month or whatever. Like that's usually the language in it. But it's also like, I played the dating game for so long back in the day that you would do this thing where you like waited to text them back so that you weren't like just texting back immediately, because it's a freaking psychology game. It's a game. It's terrible. I know. With the right person, you don't need to play these games, but I played it a lot with a lot of douchebaggy guys. So I would just like wait to text back and blah, blah, make sure they keep interested. And this is not just me. I know there was another guy, like a guy friend that I had back in the day, and he was like, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, just texting this girl. And like, oh, she just said this. And then he'd put his phone down. I'm like, well, what are you going to say? He goes, I don't know. I'll reply in like 20 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, they will literally lose interest if I just give them everything they want. I'm like, oh, okay. And this is like a really attractive dude. I'm like, it's that way for everybody. Oh my gosh. That I have to stop myself even now, because that habit is so ingrained in me from back then. When like sometimes when my husband texts me even, I'm like, no, I don't have to wait. I can just message him back immediately. I don't need him to think I'm busy. When I get a message from a customer and I see it come up right away, I'm like, I have that little thing in the back of my head. I was like, don't seem too eager. Just wait. I'm like, no, like just respond to their thing right away. They will appreciate it. Hit it while it's hot. Like, but it's still there. Like, oh, bad toxic habits, like how they seep into your art business. Also, another thing that I'm opening up more lately and like sharing maybe the bad that comes along with the good on social media, to like just to relate to other artists and things. But instead of just sharing like highlight reels or just sharing my art, that's a habit that I'm in. I'm pretty good at habitually posting about my art, but sharing any details takes a little bit more brain power. Even like writing a big caption, I'm like, I don't know. Like, so I just skip over that a lot. And I think it's really great when I see other artists, especially like you share about a project, you share what you did, like you share the video or photo, but then you describe it and say, this project means this to this person, or means this to me, or this is why I created it, the why behind it, and sharing those stories, it adds to being memorable so much more. And it makes people relate to your art. And it doesn't even have to be some like sad thing. It could just be like, I lived next to a butterfly field or a field of sunflowers that would come up every fall. And when I was growing up, and now I just love the color yellow. And so I try to put yellow in and all the things that just reminds me of this happy time. And it's just like, because we all have those reasons, right? We all like, why do I love pink? Why? Like, maybe it was because I was told that redheads couldn't wear pink when I was younger because of like the pinky flesh tones don't match, but that is a lie. That is a complete lie. And so I'm making up for the time that I didn't wear pink when I was younger. And my mom was also such a tomboy, so she was never really into like the girly stuff, but that was so me. And so now that I'm free and on my own, I'm like, I want to wear pink all the time. And it's also just being very in tune with my femininity, I think, and being okay with being girly and just loving that girly side of myself that sometimes doesn't have to be really mature or really anything. And so just I could share that, and I should share that. I'm going to write that down. And I'm going to share that the next time I make something pink, of just like why I love the color pink. It's something like that, sharing about who you are and why, rather than I painted this today. That's it. Like we all have the whys behind it. It's the same thing as on a first date, right? You don't want to like trauma dump on them, but I hear that that's a thing. One of my friends is dating, and she was like, I'm just so tired of trauma dumping. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I've gone on like 5 first dates this year, and it's all like the first thing of like, this happened. And I'm like, wait, no, wait, no, I would hate that. But in general, not quite like that, but just sharing like who you are, what makes you tick, why you're a catch, or why not. And just being okay with some people might love it and some people might not. I have just in our friend group, you can tell just watching people date, especially in our 20s. Like I know just from watching the history and who they're with now, and like that person has a type, right? And I'm like, how detailed do I want to get with this? Like, for instance, like my husband likes a certain thing. Like he actually loves that I'm really skinny. He like just loves it. But one of his really good friends hates that, like doesn't like that. It's just not his thing. He likes full figures, and that's his thing. And it's like, it's just cool to see all the differences. And it's the same with when somebody hires you for your art. Like they like your style, and that's it. And they might like my style that's a little bit more colorful rather than somebody who does black and white, or maybe not. But I think it's looking at it in that way instead of saying, oh, this artist is getting all the things. It's like, no, I think the way to stand out, especially in a saturated market, is to have a certain style and to use that style to stand out. And the people who are attracted to that will come to that, whether it's full figured or whatever. Like, I've only had a couple people in my life tell me that redheads were their style. It's like very few. But when they do, I'm like, oh, that is really interesting, because I just don't get that very often. But that's okay. I can appreciate a jet black hair or a beautiful blonde Barbie doll. I love when blondes wear pink, by the way. And like, we're all different. Like, I don't even think my husband would have said, yeah, redheads are my thing, but like, it became his thing, right? He had no choice. Okay, I'll end it with this one last point. It is, throughout my 12-year art muraling career, there's so many projects that I have taken on that just weren't a fit for me. And I knew it when I accepted it. And I tried to fit into this little box and paint in a certain way when I knew that just wasn't, it wasn't for me. And it's the same with dating, right? You can see exactly where I'm going with that. Like, there's so many times where I knew that this person probably wasn't going to work out, but they were fun. So let's see where it goes and like, how that ends up. But I think for this month especially, I think just loving our art and loving ourselves is a big focus that I'm planning to have, and just like expressing yourself and giving yourself as much love as you can, not just giving somebody else that, or, we think of Valentine's Day as like, you need to have a partner, you need to like galentines or things, but I'd love to have this be focusing on just loving your art and loving the things that you want to create, and sharing that and taking action in a way that shows that you do, like shows that you respect yourself, shows that you have hope for your future of the arts, and whether it's more sales or just coming into your own style or just getting better at painting or things. It's like, let's show ourselves some love this month. And so that's why I put out you can join the Artist Academy for only $1 as my gift to you. If you would like to gift yourself for only $1, a load of tutorials, and come in and feel the motivation that comes with being in a group and investing a small amount in yourself and seeing where it goes. So yeah, join the Artist Academy today until Valentine's Day for only $1. You can use the link attached in this description, and I hope to see you lovely artists in there. I hope you liked this comparison, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and it's just like, we're dealing with people either way, whether it's you're a student of mine, you're a person, whether you're on a date and you're wanting to impress somebody, you're wanting to impress a person, whether you're dealing with a business owner that is still a person who wants something that you think you both have something that can add to the betterment of both of your lives or businesses. And so we work together for it, but we're dealing with people, not an algorithm, not marketing, not social media. We're dealing with people. Just remember that and be kind, especially to ourselves. And I will see you next week for another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.